Welcome to the I Love CVille show. My name is Jerry Miller. It's good to be with you on a Monday. We're live in Charlottesville, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. Good show lined up for you very quickly. We have Kate Ellwood as a guest. She's going to join us at about 1 o'clock. She's the project manager of the Charlottesville Restaurant Fund. Greg Allen is going to join us and about 1:20 or so to spotlight his role in music in the community. Really good program lined up. Give it a like and a share on any of those Facebook pages you're watching the show upon. That would mean the world to us. I want to get through some headlines, and we'll get to headlines shortly. Headlines I've been watching. I think headlines that should be on your radar and headlines that you should undoubtedly be following. We'll get to those in a matter of moments. Judah Wickower, he's our director. We're an advertising agency. We work with a lot of great clients, and we're trying to stand strong by all the great clients that we serve, from New Providence, New Jersey, all the way to Asheville, North Carolina. And we just love passing along the trials and the tribulations and the positives and the strategies that are working successfully to you guys through this platform. Also telling the stories of the folks in the community that are doing good things. We are able to do this thanks to clients like Interstate Pest and Service Companies, thanks to Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, a home's best friend, Interstate Pest and Service Companies, and Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, really changing people's lives through sports medicine, chiropractic care, and physical therapy. Judah Wickower is the director of the show. I'd like to go to the first headline, Judah. And this first headline, another glimmer of hope in Monday, April 20th, 2020. COVID-19 cases drop in Virginia for the third straight day. This released by the Associated Press. We're showing a headline here in NBC 29's website. The numbers were released Monday by the Virginia Department of Health, show 453 new cases reported in the last 24 hours, bringing the total to just under 9,000. This is positive. This is positive. We have 3 consecutive days of decline. This is the first time since the virus arrived in Virginia that the Commonwealth has reported 3 consecutive days of declines. I think it's paramount that we cling to hope and leverage opportunities for hope to build a foundation for optimism, execution, and actually bettering the community. And here is one of these milestones. Potentially, I'm not putting the cart before the horse. This is potentially one of those milestones. The first time since the virus came to the Commonwealth have we had 3 consecutive days of declines with reported cases. That is a reason to be optimistic. And that's why I bring this headline to you. The second is one that happened at the end of Friday's show. Andre Xavier brought this to our attention. I want to dot the I's and cross the T's after digesting it a little bit more. Judah, if you could go to the Charlottesville Tomorrow headline about graduation. We have a potential date should things proceed according to the plan. And the first headline I showed you showed us that possibly things are going in the right direction. But the University of Virginia, the class of 2020, final exercises rescheduled potentially for October 9th to the 11th, with a backup date of May 28th to the 30th. Guys, if you're talking milestones in this journey, one of the milestones that are important for reaching and one of the milestones that are important for passing from a threshold standpoint is this one. This is an important short-term milestone that the community can continue saying, look, we're playing connect the dots to positivity. Dot 1, potentially today, the first headline, Associated Press and the Commonwealth of Virginia reporting 3 straight days of declines of reported COVID cases. There you go. Another potential dot would be the jobless claims. There's 22 million Americans that are currently unemployed. 22 million, okay? I've watched the jobless claims report. Previously, before 2020, the all-time high for 1 week for jobless claims was a little over 600,000 claims. Well, guys, just this month, a couple of weeks ago, we saw 1 week alone, 6.6 million claims. So another positive milestone that we can cling to and use as a foundation for any community, certainly our community in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, is what happens nationally from a jobless claims, because that's an indication of what's happening locally from a job standpoint as well. If you want to catch another milestone that's important, watch the reports go down. Another headline I'd like to get to you, which I found a little more sobering, a little frustrating, but I totally get it. This should have been postponed. In fact, this is canceled. Judah, the Fox Fields headline, please. Fox Fields, which was for June. I'm loading the page right now. And Andre Xavier sent this to me. Thank you, Andre Xavier, CVille Hop on Tours. It was to be held on June 13th. Fox Fields is canceled. For those watching the program, Fox Fields is now canceled. Fox Fields is an iconic event in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, something that I look forward to spend with friends or family. There's various versions of your enjoyment of Fox Fields, from my time where I'm going with a fake ID, or my time when I'm in college at UVA, or in my early 20s and I'm rowdy and getting hammered and getting after it at Fox Fields, to getting older and now being a family man, having a son, being married. To now it's more about watching my little boy run around, or my family being outside on a picnic blanket with a couple of cold beers and much more tamed down. It's disappointing to see Fox Fields canceled. I staggered this news and relayed this. The more sobering, I put more of in the middle, and this is one of the more sobering ones, but this is for the best. June 14th is too soon and too around the corner. Judah, can I ask for that infographic with the circles from my Facebook page? Can you cue that up now for us? I know that's a little bit out of order. Can you give me a thumbs up on that? Okay, so I'm playing, is that on screen? I'm playing an infographic that I put on my page over the weekend. This is my mindset here. This is my mindset in this little infographic that's on screen. And it's important because I'm a champion in this bullhorn for the small business community and for the local economy. But I'm also very much taking COVID-19 seriously. I'm very much worried about the expansion of authoritarian government policies. So I'm all three. Keep the graphic on screen. While I'm a loud proponent of the small businessman and the small business owner and the small business community, because I am one myself, I am all three, okay? And I understand Fox Fields should be postponed. And I bring you that headline because it's an important headline to follow, because that event in the second quarter impacted the community locally a huge deal. You had tens of thousands of people on one weekend in the community spending money, boozing, getting after it, eating, shopping, going to live music venues, and then leaving the community and talking about how awesome Charlottesville is. And now that's canceled. So follow that. It's important to follow. That's going to have an impact. The budget for next year is going to be severely impacted. Your sons and daughters, your neighbors, your cousins, the people in your community will be going to schools next year with resources that are not as strong as they should be. The roads will be shittier. Affordable housing will have less resources. Do you understand what I'm saying? What will happen with the parking garage on East Market Street and the Guadalajara and Lucky 7 standpoint is the city of Charlottesville going to go to Albemarle County and say, with the parking garage that's planned for East Market Street and the site of Guadalajara and Lucky 7, is the city of Charlottesville and our 5 city councilors and our city manager, are they going to go to the Board of Supervisors and say, hey, Board of Supervisors, shit just hit the fan with COVID-19, and Charlottesville's budget doesn't have the deep resources that we thought it would. As a result, we're not going to do this parking garage right now, and the scope of the project is going to change because we don't have the money to do it. And then Albemarle County is going to blow their mind. They are going to lose their SHIT if that happens. Because Supervisor Rick Randolph went on the record at Court Square, which is about a block and a half or 2 blocks from our offices, and Rick Randolph said the city of Charlottesville has a long history of not keeping their promises with Albemarle County. Well, this parking garage situation with the budget for 2021 not having the money to hire firefighters. I've had the firefighters on the show. I had the head of the union, Greg Wright, on this program, and he was essentially pleading city councilors, the city manager, and Charlottesvillians across the I Love CVille network that we need more resources for the firefighters. We know the teachers deserve more money and the teachers need more resources. We know we're trying to do the West Main Streetscape project. That's pretty much the beautification of West Main Street, a corridor between Midtown and downtown that has tens of millions of dollars currently pigeonholed or earmarked for it. Where's this money going to come from now that we're in a short-term recession? Ask yourself that question, because that is a very real question. And when events like Foxfields get canceled, the disposable income and the taxable revenue that the city enjoys, both from an entrepreneurial, small business, and municipality standpoint, gets pinched. A couple more headlines, then Kate Ellwood, we're going to go to you for some inspiring news with what she's doing with the restaurant community. Fauci says, one more quick headline, and let's go through these quickly. Fauci says that whether Fauci is getting pressure from the president and the White House, I don't know. That's not my realm. I know local. I know Charlottesville. I can give you more information about Charlottesville, Virginia than pretty much anyone in this community. I don't know about Fauci. I just read headlines when it comes to the federal government like this. Fauci expresses concern, and you have that on screen. Fauci expresses cautious optimism about the outbreak, that the outbreak is slowing, says the economy could reopen in May. Is that Trump saying, elbow, you're voluntold? You're voluntold, Doc, to make this announcement, to make people feel a little bit more secure about going outside because they know that I'm going to do this, but this coming from you is completely different? Who knows? Who knows? But that's a headline that's a glimmer of hope. I mean, Fauci, he is an honorable man of integrity. Anybody that's watching him can see that. A man of honor and integrity. I doubt he's going to put his reputation on the line unless he truly believes it, but he may be getting influence. And one more quickly, Shake Shack to return the $10 million government loan. We talked about this on Friday. I had Friday on the podcast on the I Love CVille show. An inspired monologue on government and the federal government leveraging small business owners and creating this PPP program and saying we're creating this PPP, this payroll protection program for the betterment of the small business owners. We're doing this for you. But then you see the Ruth Chris of the world and the Sugar Shacks of the world. And Judah, put this on screen, please, sir. The Sugar Shacks of the world getting tens of millions of dollars. Ruth Chris, Sugar Shacks, just to name a few. So here's the federal government. We got a PPP program to help the small business owner keep their small business employees, their few employees on their hand. In the sake of our company, you can count them on two hands. We're going to keep them on the payroll. But in reality is you got businesses like this getting the money, sucking up the little capital that was in the bank account and keeping it from going to small business owners in the community. Patty Zeller is one that comes to mind. She's been very vocal about this on social media at Animal Connection in the McIntyre Plaza. Okay? There are many small business owners that applied for this money. It went to big time brands. Did you know Shake Shack, Sugar Shack, is it Shake Shack, Judah? Shake Shack? Shake Shack, he said. Yeah, Shake Shack. Shake Shack is owned by a private equity firm. The brand is owned by a private equity firm. Instead of the money going to private equity firm-backed brands, say that 3 times fast, get it to the Downtown Grills, the C&Os, the Sal's Cafe Italias, the Lampos. Get it to the Timberwood Grills and the Timberwood Tap Houses. And get it to the Lazy Parrots and the Tip Tops. Although Terry doesn't need the money. Terry's freaking loaded. Last headline. Support local. My family over the weekend. Just so you know, my money is where my mouth is here. Get the Now and Zen photos up. Now and Zen and Toshi, the owner, the executive chef of Now and Zen. Look at this spread, dude. And flip through them. You have a lot of them, Judah, that you're flipping through? Is that accurate? A thumbs up on that for Toshi? He's got 4. That's fantastic. Thank you. We're flipping through photos. People that are just enjoying the show from an audio standpoint, not the visual. I very much encourage you to enjoy both the audio and visual, and go to Facebook and watch it live. But for those that are watching the show, this was the family spread from Now and Zen on Sunday. Fabulous. Keep it local. Shop local. It's a lifestyle. Shopping, eating, and supporting local is a lifestyle. Understood? It's like going to the gym. It's like being healthy. It's a lifestyle. Okay? Judah, I'm going to reach out to Kate. Kate, if you're watching, and we're going to extend a little bit. Greg as well with you. I'm going to reach out to Kate. Kate Ellwood, fantastic people. This is her second rodeo on the program. She is the visionary behind the Charlottesville Restaurant Fund. Follow them on social, Charlottesville Restaurant Fund /resources. Formerly the general manager, okay, Citizen Burger Bar in the Downtown Mall. I think when she was running Citizen Burger Bar, and Andy McClure probably blushes when I say this, he likes it secretly, but he also is slightly embarrassed. Andy McClure is a friend of the show and one of the most established restaurateurs in Charlottesville. When she was running Citizen Burger Bar, top highest grossing restaurant in Charlottesville, Virginia, Citizen Burger Bar. Local, excluding Chick-fil-A's and Starbucks. Local brands. I'd say Citizen Burger Bar, maybe a Wild Wing, those two. I'm reaching out to Kate, Judah. I'm giving you a heads up. Man, I'm getting text messages left and right. People appreciating that monologue right there. Give us, if you could, Kate, that camera turned on so we can see your beautiful face. Thank you kindly for joining us on the program. Judah, I'm getting the thumbs up from you that Kate is good to go. You are on screen. Kate, ¿qué pasa? How are you?
Thanks for having me again. I'm great. How are
doing
you?
Well. Monday. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, Kate, your family, how is Monday in your life?
Monday is good. Feels similar with like a little bit of child. But we're trying to get back into more of a routine with her and doing school. It's tough, but trying to make it work. It's a good Monday so far.
Good.
Though, so.
I like the optimism there. All right, give us an update. So we got some news here, and I want you to get it out there. What's new in your life from this fabulous resource you're creating?
Sure. So I started the Charlottesville Restaurant Community Fund fundraiser about a month ago, which is crazy to say that we've been living in this strange world for a month. And then I've received just so many people emailing that need help that it was kind of overwhelming. And then I had New Morning. They're a local charity nonprofit. They're based in Charlottesville. And they're funded by a private foundation. So they reached out to me. They offered to help with bookkeeping so that I could focus on managing the social media accounts. So that's where I am right now.
Awesome. So let me throw this to you. You have raised a lot of loot, lady. A lot of loot. It's so super impressive here. How much props have you gotten from people and been like, oh my gosh, this is such a good thing? Because why I like it is it's innovative, it's entrepreneurial, it's needed, it's trusted, it's someone that's been there, done that. It's someone that has like a perspective of from the front lines. So it's like backed by so much like legitimacy and like credibility and like you. So like give us a snapshot of somebody locally where you like help them and you're like, oh my gosh, this is what this means to us, not using names that you can relay to the community.
Definitely. Most of the people emailing are the owners or the managers nominating individuals that they had to lay off that could use help right now. And when I first started this a month ago, that's when it was still okay to like meet people in person and I could give them, and that was really neat. And so one of my first rounds of giving the money out was one of the local restaurants on the mall, And before I walked away, he handed me this little folded up note from his daughter. I think she's like 6 years, and she wrote me this sweet, just saying like, thank you so much, with a heart, and how much that meant to her family, money to help them. And so I keep this on the fridge just to remind me what I wanted to do with this. I just wanted a way to help the community. And that's my reason, just, helping families in need right now. Individuals in need.
You are awesome. You are awesome. Bashir watching the program right now from Bashir's. Catherine from Iron Poffles watching the show. A question coming in from James Watson about a website that displays which local restaurants are offering specials. He mentions the local, and we started with the local before going to Now and Zen. The local was not open on Sunday, but there's a couple of them. There's one on Charlottesville 29, James. There's one on NBC 29. In fact, a lot of the news organizations like the Daily Progress as well have one. Daniel Kaufman has one as well. Or Daniel Kaufman is watching the show as well, Kate. I'm going to throw this to you. How can we sustain this fabulous resource moving forward? The resource is great for a pandemic. It's great when when shit is hitting the fan. How about in good times? Like, what ideas did you have for that?
So in good times, continuing efforts, I wanted to have it just more resources for the restaurant community, for the restaurant workers and for the owners. Because, for example, during this pandemic, a lot of the owners, they don't have much guidance to deal with this, and so just giving more support to the owners. But when things are good, hopefully being a place where people can go, just get questions out, on the job training for restaurants, just different networking they can do, help films, just that kind of stuff right there. Giving them more restaurant industry.
This question's come in. Can you guys talk about how we're heading into a season where we would have made a lot of our money, and how we're missing a time where we make our money? If this had happened in the winter, it would have been really different than coming into this time. Please don't use my name, Jerry. Good call right there. That just comes to like food and beverage and like hospitality. They're making their money for the entire year, their quota for the year, and you know this as well, okay? They're getting their quota for the entire year in like such a short window. That's not only the businesses, but that trickles down all the way down to the front lines and the servers, Kate.
I was going to say, yeah, it's not just the restaurants taking that hit either, because the wait staff in restaurants during the winter, you would save your money a bit more. That's expect out. Now they don't have that. So it is going. We had some kind of about what that might look like from the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. So we said, we expect restaurants will reopen, but half the tables, which means half the wait staff, and still more of this delivery model. So I think restaurants are going to figure out how to transition their business model into more of an in-team delivery aspect, a different model.
All right, let me throw this to you here. I love to try to predict the future, and then I want to give an opportunity for people to get involved and to donate and to keep the progress going. You're an entrepreneur at heart. You've touched on this a little bit. What do you think it's going to look like when it's said and done? Because and Bashir just left you this message. Thank you for being a part of our community and for what you're doing to help the employees. That's a good tip from Bashir. Patty, we do know that. The Skype is coming in a little spotty on your end, Kate. I'm going to throw this to you here. What do you look like? What do you think it's going to look like when this is over? I think it's going to be like curbside, takeout, delivery. I think one of the things that someone could really launch businesses, and I'm saying this out loud, I think one of the businesses that could really crush it is if someone launched a local Charlottesville delivery business that offer better margins than Grubhub and DoorDash that are currently gouging the brands. And just like a local one, maybe it's like a monthly membership, or it's
Yeah.
I mean, just anywhere you want to go on this.
Well, I definitely think, like you said, the Grubhub and those delivery apps are really hurting. Order in-house from restaurants as much as possible or all the time. That really helps the restaurants. Those apps, those business 15 to 30% in fees. And so ordering in-house, check out the local restaurant you want to order from, see if they do it first. That's always the best way to go. I think for at least the next year or two is going to look like your delivery model that you just talked about. Develop that in-house, that looks like via accounts to get the word out about their menu, who's doing the deliveries. So really being on top of social media and figuring out their new business model.
Oh, I would love to talk about that further with you. That's the kind of stuff that gets me really excited. All right, ways to keep the momentum going for what you're doing and donating.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I had to create a new page. I had to create a whole new page. GoFundMe's been overall a good platform, but it has its little issues to figure out. So now with the nonprofit partnership, I was able to create a new page, which is customized for the charity. And so that new page is up, it's live. I can share that link. And that way people can donate. It's tax deductible on a few donations because people wanted to donate a large amount, and obviously a nonprofit organization. So now that I think that will give people more of an incentive to donate. So just logging on, donating through GoFundMe. I have the links on all the pages. And then I just want to continue to build the momentum, like you said. The first couple weeks, we raised a lot of money, and I just want to keep that up so we can help as many people as possible.
Awesome, Kate. Awesome. Judah's corresponding with you right now via the Facebook message to set up the show. If you send the links to him, we can make sure we get them in the package.
I'm also doing a t-shirt fundraiser.
The design was epic.
Thanks. Yeah, I designed it with a company out of Richmond. And I'm also working with 2 local artists to put out their designs this coming week. But it's just a fun thing. I think everyone likes wearing like a comfortable t-shirt or sweatshirt. It has a fun local design on it. So those t-shirts actually support 3 different local nonprofits.
Cool. Well. Can we get the design a link for the t-shirt, Judah? He says yes. Awesome. Kate, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing and helping out.
I'm grateful. You have a good one, Kate. Kate Ellwood is awesome. We will include the links to donate into the package and the t-shirt to buy in the package. Please do that if you could, Senor Wickhauer. Thank you, Kate, for joining us. Let's get back to that idea. Bashir, I really do think it's a good idea. If I launched my business is 12 years old on May 31st. May 31st, it's 12. And I launched it in a recession. I'm not saying you should launch businesses in recessions, but I'm saying it can be done. One entrepreneur, a couple of entrepreneurs, a few entrepreneurs, maybe it's a couple of different groups or competing teams. You launch a business where it's delivery, not just for restaurants, but delivery for brick and mortars, retail, delivery for restaurants, delivery for breweries, delivery for wineries, whatever it may be. You're the Charlottesville delivery company. And you form membership type revenue stream. This restaurant, this brewery, this winery, this brick and mortar retail store pays me X amount of dollars a month in perpetuity until they cancel the membership, and they get X amount of deliveries for that monthly fee. And you service the brick and mortar retailers and breweries and wineries and restaurants. They don't want to be in the delivery game. Restaurant owners want to make good restaurant food, want to make good food. Retail want to sell their product. Breweries want to sell their beer. Vineyards want to sell their bottles. Wineries want to sell their bottles of wine. They don't want to be in the logistical game of managing vehicles and drivers and the exposure that comes with that model. I think somebody in Charlottesville, there's an opportunity to launch this business. You call it the Charlottesville Delivery Company, and I think it would crush it. It would crush it. DoorDash and Grubhub and Postmates are taking 15 to 30% of the ticket. And they're not even delivering the food right away. They're going to restaurant A, picking up food, going to restaurant B and restaurant C and picking up food, and delivering the food for restaurants A, B, and C all together for efficiency's sake. And that leaves the food for A and B shitty, and it makes the customer pissed off at the restaurant and not at the transportation that's causing the issue. Someone is going to do that. Dr. Downey, welcome to the program. Rebecca Downey says, for those who can't afford food, let alone restaurants, do you know of any way local families in need can get connected directly with a family in a better situation to sponsor regular grocery and restaurant deliveries? There you go. I mean, Rebecca Downey, I will say this. Eliza Borchis and Carter Myers Automotive are doing a really good job of using their shuttle vehicles that were used for customers and their open transportation to do this type of delivery and groceries for the needy. So I would say Carter Myers Automotive and Liza Borchis. Somebody tag Liza in this. Dr. Downey says, I want to give props to local musician Michael Clem, who has done a number of online music shows to raise money for restaurants and waitstaff. Well done, Michael Clem. A lot of folks watching. Why don't we do this? Are you ready for the next guest, Judah? Let's get Greg on the line. I'm going to go ahead and Skype him. And Greg has got, he's a guy that's connected musically. And we're going to connect with him to see how he's managing COVID-19. I hope his connection is strong. Greg, we'll go to you here shortly. Make sure you have that camera activated for us, Greg. Judah, are you ready for Greg? Okay. Greg, once you activate that camera, we can go to you. We're going to go to you live on the I Love CVille show. Nope, we don't have that camera on, unfortunately. You just got to. Okay, I think you just did it. There you go, Greg.
How's that for a positioning? Are we good?
And you know what? You're live on the show. Judah, we got him, right? Greg, before we go anywhere, this is the toughest question I'm going to ask you on April 20th, 2020. Are you ready?
Yeah, man, let's go.
How do you pronounce your last name, my friend?
It's Morgoglione.
There you go. Morgoglione. Thanks for coming on the show. Introduce yourself to the viewing public, Greg.
So I am a co-founder and the current director of the Accessible Music Project, a nonprofit organization.
How'd you get into that?
A friend 25 years ago asked me to take my music to the nursing home where her mother and aunt lived. That turned into a concert series. I realized that this is an enormous professional opportunity for musicians, and I've just been working.
How are you managing COVID-19, Greg?
We're stymied like everybody else. I mean, personally, I'm fine distance a long time ago, so I can continue to function. I do a couple other things that need to be around people. But as far as the Accessible Music Project, we're used to going into nursing homes, assisted living, places like Region 10 down in Nelson County, and suddenly we can't do that. And then what we can do is we can go play on their lawn. And so let's go play on the lawn outside of Cedars Healthcare Center and see how it works out. And so we've taken the money that we had to pay for that would be running through June, and we're just repurposing that to reach out to musicians and reach out to more of our folks.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's fun.
I'm going to throw this to you here. So we are, and I don't want to assume, but from the very few minutes that I've had a chance to communicate with you, and that's via Skype right here in the last few minutes, I sense you have an amazing, optimistic energy to yourself. And
yes,
what is a glimmer that we can find in this time here for folks in Charlottesville and Central Virginia?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I think, and this really speaks to the musicians for me, I think, we're going to come out of this event in a completely new world, unimaginable, and in a good way. And so it gives us an opportunity to create whatever. And for musicians in particular, it gives us an opportunity to create the change that we sing. So I've been really encouraged by the musician input we've had since this pandemic began. It's unprecedented. I don't know what it is, but I'm happy. And I hope it continues because we need the musicians to come in and seize this professional opportunity. It's enormous.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I called it on the show last week, the democratization of music. I think with the major labels, they used their connections and the network that they had built, corporate connections, high dollar connections, to build artists and to funnel them to their venues and to their platforms and to their deals and to their labels. Now, with no big-time venues being able to host shows and to showcase artists, this, and I'm holding an iPhone, and what we are doing, live streaming, has become the venue. And when this becomes the venue, what we're doing, that is the democratization of music, and it empowers every musician across the globe, even the ones that are sitting at 208 Little Graves on Charlottesville behind the old Spud Nuts in an attic and a couple of empty Budweisers at his feet and maybe some things in the ashtray. It allows that person to create great music and be seen and heard by the world. I'm going to get out of your way, Greg.
Yeah, man. All right. You're hitting the nail on the head. It's coming to us. And, again, I believe this ties right into the opportunity that Accessible Music Project offers. I don't know how to say this. I'll do my best to be politically kind. But, we just have to close our eyes as musicians. When we play a song that's listening, doesn't care where they live, what they look like, how old they are. I mean, I think if we can embrace that, we will find that this access limited demographic are some of the best audiences we're ever going to have. They're attentive, they're appreciative, and so let's take the music to them. And this is one way, in addition to there and do our thing and be the professionals that we are, and open up some new turf for ourselves.
Beautiful. All right, final word is yours, sir. What am I missing? The show is yours. Anywhere you want to go.
We just need more input from musicians. I appreciate this, and we've got some money to pay you guys. And come on and join the fun. We're on we have a Facebook page, Accessible Music Project. Look us up. And
our pleasure. You have a good one, Greg. You crushed it. Take care.
Too,
all right.
Take care.
Very well done. Thank you, Greg. Joshua Tracy, welcome to the program. Patty Zeller at Animal Connection. For those that lost their jobs, she's putting this on the feed. For those that lost their jobs in restaurants, you have animals that you care for, your own dogs and cats. Patty Zeller at Animal Connection has free food for you. If you're a server, front of the house, back of the house, if you work in restaurants in Charlottesville or in Central Virginia, you lost your job and money is tight, Patty Zeller at Animal Connection has free dog and cat food for you to help you through this tough time. That's the beauty of local over at Chewy.com. That's the beauty of an Animal Connection over a big box brand that's not as actively involved in the community. I'm going to dot the I's and cross the T's on a couple things. Kate Ellwood, thank you kindly for joining us. When you guys watch this show after its live format, make sure you donate to what Kate Ellwood is doing, please. And the Charlottesville Restaurant Fund, follow it on Facebook. It's essentially what it is. It reminds me of like a nonprofit hybrid, it's a nonprofit. It's collecting money into an account, and it's managed by someone who has integrity and who's worked in restaurants locally and is going to allocate the money the right way. I think it's fantastic. And Greg, I thought you were fantastic as well. Also, thank you for having some personality and introducing us to one of your passions here on the program. A couple things I'm going to close the show on. There's glimmers of hope. And one of the things I'm going to follow very closely here is I'm going to follow University of Virginia's lead in Charlottesville, Virginia. I've seen the following. This is what we've seen from the community. We have seen that a lot of the influence and the power rests with the university, as we know. I'm going to see how Jim Ryan does with welcoming students to grounds. I'm going to see the role he does with graduation and this tentative date of October 9th and 11th here in 2020. And I'm going to see how UVA, whether or not they choose to lead the charge on various fronts. UVA can choose to lead the charge, obviously from a healthcare front, and I think they're doing an excellent job. I think the healthcare workers across the community are today's heroes. Okay? When you've said, as Americans, what job puts their health on the line, and what job, when you leave the front door, are you uncertain if you're going to come back healthy and living your life to the fullest? You often thought people that worked in military service, policemen, firefighters, EMTs. Today, you are thinking nurses and doctors and people that work in healthcare, and they should be celebrated and championed. UVA's role is to continue to support this demographic of individuals that are bettering the community. It's also, from my standpoint, its role is to be an economic leader for the community. If you could put the hybrid infographic up again, Judah, with the 3 circles, it's okay to feel all 3 of these. And I'm showing an infographic on screen. I champion the business community, but it's okay to feel all 3 of these. And that's why I'm showing it. I think it offered clarity to a lot of people that watched the show, because people like me who have been champions for the small business community and saying, look, we need to get 22 million Americans back to work, and you really want to see true negative situations, watch what happens if we're in a prolonged economic recession of 18 to 24, 36 months. That's when you're really, really, really going to see hardship. And when you make statements like that, a large portion of the people understand. But some people, the population, are like, look, you have to prioritize health first. And I am. I'm prioritizing all 3. I'm prioritizing all 3. Okay, so I'm watching the University of Virginia's influence and its role and its the path Jim Ryan and that school and institution choose in this community. The city council doesn't have much power. Okay, the city manager is stuck in such a bureaucratic process. He has very little power from a short-term or pivoting standpoint. He can set a budget, and he can allocate funds, and he can fire people, and he can help determine which roads are going to go where and what business is going to happen. But for him to take a $200 million business, and that's what Charlottesville is, $200 million a year business, and quickly pivot that business and turn it and make moves, he can't do it. It's too rigid and bureaucratic and too slow and archaic and too big. He just can't do it. The person that can do it, though, it's not the Board of Supervisors, it's not the mayor, it's not the city council, it's not the city manager. The person that can do it, though, is Jim Ryan. It's UVA. And Ryan can say, I'm going to do this, and that's going to have a trickle-over effect over everything else. Jim Ryan can say, I'm going to say we're going to come back in a limited capacity. I'm going to say we're going to come back to grounds in this capacity. And I don't even know what the answer is. Maybe it's tiered schools. Maybe it's on Monday, first years go to school. Maybe it's on Tuesday, second years go to school. Wednesdays, third years go to school. Third years on fourth years on Thursday. I have no idea. This above my pay grade. He says they come back to grounds in this tiered capacity. If he says they come back to grounds, students in this tiered capacity, whatever it may be, I know it's probably not going to be all out, balls to the wall, 100%, come out in full force, enjoy UVA as we previously enjoyed fall semester 2020. It's not going to, or fall semester 2019. It ain't going to be like that. We know that. It's going to be some kind of throttled or abbreviated experience. But UVA, and mark my words, you heard me say this, UVA has every freaking reason to bring students back to grounds because they have to maintain the credibility of the tuition price point. The longer they go with students being off grounds and doing distance learning through a digital or online setting, the more that marginalizes or devalues the tuition that is UVA and the price point they're trying to pursue and reach and collect from the marketplace. Because the longer this goes, the longer it shows the value of digital learning and how easy it can be. And that's going to keep students from coming to grounds. And before you know it, UVA's business model is going to change drastically. And how it's going to collect tuition is doing mass volume tuition across students from over the globe in a digital setting, as opposed to 20 to 25,000 students in an in-person setting in Charlottesville, Virginia. And everybody that's in Charlottesville and Central Virginia that's watching this program, you better hope to God that it's the in-person setting, for the values of your homes, the values of your businesses, and the future of the community from an economic prosperity standpoint. You want the in-person students interacting on grounds, and Jim Ryan knows this. So the person that's going to lead the charge, the one person that's going to lead the charge, and no pressure, dude. I mean, it's why he gets paid the big bucks. He just announced executives at UVA, to upper-level executives at UVA, we're going to take a pay decrease. And props to them for taking a pay decrease. He gets paid the big money. Close on that, Jim Ryan. Watch what he does. His decision-making is going to determine a lot that happens in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille show. Tomorrow on the program, who we have tomorrow? I'm looking at my phone. Oh, Erin King is going to join us. Love Erin King. She's a friend of the program. She's worked in restaurants for a long time. She works for Feast in the Purple Building. Feast has had success. She runs catering and events and marketing for Feast. 12:45 or so tomorrow. 12:50, Erin on the program. Jerry Miller for Judah Wickower. It's the I Love CVille show. Take care, guys. Keep it running. Keep it running.